Now arriving at Lijiang Tower. Initiating match.
Hello everyone and welcome to the NECC Week 6 matchup. It's your post-university Eagles taking on St. Lawrence University tonight in Week 6. Should be a really good match. We've got Multikel on tank, Moridin and Chewy on DPS, and KingJackson and Jojo on support for the Eagles here in Game 1. And then for St. Lawrence, it's Char, Favored, Yashi, Winter Bull, and Kushinada. So we are in the map right now, ready to get going. We are on Lijiang Tower.
You're both smart and cute and
As we see the team comps coming out here. Okay, I see. My team's right. Oh, my teams are right on the overlay. Look at that. Amazing. All right, here we go. Point 1, it looks like it's going to be a Symmetra comp for the Eagles as we're going to TP right onto point. Moridin going to get the turrets down immediately, and the Eagles already making their presence felt on the payload. Chewy, though, getting very low on the Freya, has to get the health pack, is still getting chased down, gets some heals, but does fall to Winter Bull, and that's the first pick of the fight going to St. Lawrence. Warren also getting very low. Favored gets one more. Kushinada on the jetpack, gets another, and now it's just a cleanup duty for St. Lawrence as they will eventually cap the point here. The last 2 kills going over to Yashi and Favored, and first fight goes to St. Lawrence. Chewy swapping to the Reaper after that fight. Everybody else sticking on their heroes, though. Char coming out on the Anran, one of the new heroes added recently to the game. Overwatch adding 5 heroes at once. Really went crazy with the addition of the new content. There's another TP onto point, and they're capping it almost all the way. Kushinada had to come in and stop the capture. Good swap to Reaper here by Chewy, gonna help deal with Yashi on the Winston. Chewy dealing tons of damage, gonna get the first kill onto Favor. That's 1-0 so far for the Eagles. Also, Yashi going down. Winter Bull takes 1 in response, getting Moridin into the gray screen, but it's just cleanup duty now for Chewy's Reaper. A quick Wraith form and back in, and Post University captured the point during that fight, actually, so they have about 20%. Ticking up now. Hello to everyone in chat. Welcome in, welcome in. We have just gotten started here in map 1. It's a very even affair so far. Both of these teams coming in at 3-2 on the season in the NECC, and also 10-7 in maps. So these teams, this should be a very close match tonight. As Kel on the Junker Queen here. Here comes the Bob onto the point by Favor, though, and Bob immediately takes out 2 Eagles, and there's nothing Post University can do. That's a clean 5-for-0 team kill for St. Lawrence as they will retake the point. 53 to 30% and climbing now with St. Lawrence in control. Kitsune Rush online as well for Wintered Bull, as well as 2 more ultimates, maybe 3. Yeah, make it 3. Primal Rage, Catnapper, Vermilion Ascent, as we see Yashi diving in, diving out. Has that Primal Rage available, so he is not going to be afraid to get in there. But there's another teleport onto that window as Char gets the first kill there. Make it 2. Death Blossom goes out by Chewy, but it's too little too late, and that's another clean 5-for-0 team kill by St. Lawrence. Really nice response to the Symmetra, but Moridin does now have Photon Barrier online, so we'll see if that helps out Post in this next engagement. I'm going to go over to Jojo here, who has Kitsune Rush online for the Eagles, but she's unable to take the portal, and Kushinada gets the kill. There's no ultimate now on the point, and this is a fight is a complete wash for Post. They're going to need to get back to the drawing board on this one. Cleanup duty now for St. Lawrence as they stagger Multikel and KingJackson very nicely. And, oh, actually, Post somehow hit the point during that fight. I didn't even notice that. Got a few percent there, but now St. Lawrence takes it right back, ticking up past 80% now. Could be final fight territory. I'm going to be on board with Multikel here for the Rampage ultimate. Let's see when he decides to pop it here. Needs to be a much cleaner engagement, but Wintered Bull is not going to let that happen, taking down Moridin right away. Yashi, another one onto KingJackson. Multikel trying to salvage this fight. Has yet to pop the Rampage. There it goes. A nice purple nade coming in, getting 3 members of St. Lawrence, but is it going to be enough? Chewy takes down 1. The cat is no more. Chewy and Multikel trying to be the heroes here on the point by themselves. KingJackson coming in to support as well, and they do take it back in overtime. 70% now and ticking up for Post University. And 0 ultimates on the board for either team right now. Favorite will have Bob coming up pretty soon, probably in time for this next fight. But that may be the only one, and this will be a pretty raw team fight coming out. Oh, Chewy is also close to Death Blossom. If he's able to survive and farm that up before the next team fight, that could be really big for Post University, as we see Yashi jump over to the left and try to go in to the point. Is Chewy getting healed up here? Gonna try to teleport into the back line. There comes Bob onto the point. 94% now to Death Blossom, but 2 kills already make it 3 and 4. Chewy the last man alive for Post, and he will fall. And he was not able to get the Death Blossom up in time, and that is going to be first point on Li Zhang going to St. Lawrence. That botched engagement when Jojo missed the teleport from Moridin's Symmetra was really key, because I feel like that was a fight that the Eagles really needed to win there, because they had the ultimate advantage in that fight, but because Jordan wasn't able to get onto the point with everybody else using the teleporter, she didn't have Kitsune Rush to help support the team onto the point, and then that allowed them to just pick her off immediately, and then it was a 5v4 on the point with no healers, so that was just really bad. Let's see if Post can tighten up these plays as Moridin sticking with the Symmetra, as we're gonna get another teleport straight onto the point here, and now Multikel switching to the Mauga, trying to counter this Winston, as we see the Winston playing a little bit off, as we see favored. Nice shots getting KingJackson right off the rip here. Multikel charging in, trying to take down these supports, but right now it's too little too late, as St. Lawrence has already taken down 2, make it 3. Multikel, Chewy swapping to the Tracer, but so far not having much effect there. And St. Lawrence will take the first point, or excuse me, the first team fight win here on second point of Li Zhang. See Yashi pelting them with the long-range attacks from Winston. Post circling around to the left. Chewy, though, trying to flank, has to use recall. Now has to play it safe for a little bit with no recall available. Getting harassed by the cat. Multikel does pick up 1 on the point. As we see Post coming back in. A nice shot by Moridin will get a second, and Post University will take it right back. Only 31% on the board so far for St. Lawrence. Now St. Lawrence in full retreat mode, regrouping. Chewy has the Pulse Bomb available. Let's see if he's able to get value out of it. Going going for another flank here. He has a pretty good idea of where they are. He's spotted out by Yashi, though, so he's going to call that out to the rest of his team, and he's not going to be able to get a sneaky... Oh, doesn't stick anyone, but gets some damage down. KingJackson finishes the job, gets 2 on the Lucio. Really nice job by KingJackson. But 2 traded back by St. Lawrence. This is an even fight, 3v3 on the point. Here comes the Catnapper. Who does he get? Oh, but Multikel doesn't matter. Gets the kill anyways. And Multikel now on the point. Has the chain. Has the ultimate available. The cage fight, but doesn't decide to pop it. As Post still with control of the point. Chewy just stalling here with the Tracer. Finally goes down to Yashi. As Moridin also still on the point. And we got B-Drop coming in from KingJackson. Now if Multikel can get back here in time. Oh, 2 do fall. Let's see if he's going to get in there. Nice charge in. But I think he's not going to pop ult here and just try to get a little bit more percent on the board for Post. Yeah, that is definitely the play. 70% ticking up now. Chewy, still, these Post teams stalling so well. They lost the fight about a minute ago, but they got an extra about 25% on the board just by stalling on the point there with Mauga and with Chewy on the Tracer. And now they have a lot of ultimates heading into this next fight because they knew that they didn't need to use any of them really there. So I'm really curious to see when Multikel decides to pop the cage fight ultimate on Mauga. That's going to be a huge deal as we have a lot of ultimates from both teams ready to go here. There's the barrier from Symmetra, and all the ults coming out, but 3 kills immediately from St. Lawrence, and Post University may decide to hold on to their ultimates for this one because the fight is essentially lost already. That's a clean 5-for-0 team kill once again from St. Lawrence. These fights have been out of control by these Saints. They are just relentless on these counterattacks. When Post is the one diving in, St. Lawrence has been able to respond beautifully in multiple engagements so far. But Post did a great job of holding on to those ultimates. Jojo has the Kitsune Rush. Let's see if they go on to point with it and then pop the cage fight. But they've got to stay healthy as they approach the point. They're getting poked down by Favored on the Ashe. Gets a first kill onto Chewy. They're going to pop the ult anyways. They got to go. 94%. This is last fight here. Bob coming in onto the point as well. Jojo falls. KingJackson and Moridin also fall. And things are looking very grim for Post. Multikel on the point will fall as well. Now it's just Chewy trying to get there. Stalling overtime. There's the pulse bomb. Doesn't find a kill. And Chewy is out of cooldowns and will fall to Kushinada on the Jetpack Cat. And it is going to be a clean 2-0 for the St. Lawrence Saints. Taking map 1 pretty convincingly. Now, Char on the end run, this was pretty much every time the Post was the one trying to engage, this happened, right? The Vermilion Ascent just coming in and just exploding everyone before Post can even set up any kind of a counterattack there. So that was really nicely done overall from St. Lawrence. Very impressed with what I've seen from them so far. Post has really got to tighten up the engagements, I think, a little bit, specifically with the Symmetra teleports. A couple of those were a little awkward there, especially on the first point. But depending on what map choice is coming next, the Symmetra may or may not be in the cards for the Post University squad. So we'll see if it comes out in the next map here. But I do believe it is Post University's map pick next since we lost map 1. I am a little bit out of the loop in terms of how the map selection process actually goes. And we are going to get a substitution coming out here for the Eagles as well. Vero is out, Jojo is out and Vero is in for Post University. That's a support swap there. So we'll see if the teams change up any of their hero bans or anything like that. But we'll see if Post can tighten things up. That St. Lawrence team looked pretty unstoppable there. Had a number of really good team fights. So we'll be right back with map 2. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Traveling to Havana. Initiating match.
Havana, Unana, here we are. Map 2, St. Lawrence took the first map pretty decisively, the 2-0 on Lijiang Tower, and now we are here on Havana. Post University has banned the Widowmaker, and St. Lawrence has banned the Kiriko, FYI for everybody in chat. So, a couple things that means. Number one, that means that, yeah, there it is. I knew it was coming. The Ramatra is online for Multikel. That was what St. Lawrence banned in map 1. So, very interesting that they decided to swap to the Kiri ban here in map 2. That will mean that King will be on the Anna and Vero on the Baptiste. So, we'll see if this comp does well for Post University. Chewy on the Emre here, again one of the newer heroes. Emre, pretty immobile, kind of long-range DPS character. He's classified as a specialist, but really can fulfill a lot of roles. Played kind of similarly to Widow until he gets his ultimate. Then once he gets his ultimate, he really becomes like kind of like almost like a Pharah type of character, getting a nice cheeky little bit of extra damage right at the front there. So we see Multikel, the very common strategy we see right here on this map, holding this first 90-degree corner right here, using the shields, getting the poke damage down. They're going to try to hold this cart right as it kind of rounds this first corner here. We see Yashi sticking with the Winston. He's going to jump into the high ground there. Let's see if Chewy can deal with him. He's got the bubble there. Very difficult for Emre to deal with these with the shields. He's got to do a lot of damage quickly. As we see Moridin getting a little low. No kills quite yet. His favorite just take out the Baptiste. Mortality field. Vero falling though, favorite taking her out with the help of Yashi's Winston. And now Chewy trying to do what he can, but falls as well. And that's going to be a fairly clean team fight there. It took a little bit for them to get up there. And for Yashi to advance his positioning up onto that high ground and take down Vero. But once Vero fell, everything else kind of fell apart for Post in that first fight. And let's see if Eagles want to try to contest before this first point. See if they can get there in time. Yashi is waiting on the high ground with, I believe that's Char up there. As the payload inching towards the first point. They are going to oh, maybe not. Yeah, they are going to contest. 1.25 meters still till the first point. And Yashi backs off a little bit. Multikel gets put to sleep. Vero getting very, very low, is not able to get the heals and goes down. Chewy finds one in return, but will it be enough? It's got a very difficult fight for Post. Now they have no healers online. Multikel forced to just try to do what he can to stay alive, and they actually do so. Multikel now pushing up aggressively, despite having no heals, using the barrier to cut off that angle, and sees favored by themselves over in the corner. But somehow Chewy and Multikel and Moridin hold the line after both supports go down. And Post is able to stop this cart before the first point. But here's Yashi once again dropping down. Annihilation online for Multikel, but here comes the Bob as well. Annihilation is popped by Multikel. but Bob getting a lot of work done here for St. Lawrence, picking up both support kills once again. Chewy popping the ultimate, but he's gonna fall, get shot out of the sky by Favorites Ash, and now Multikel all alone will fall, and that'll be the first checkpoint going over to St. Lawrence.
Now you don't.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Ah, Chewy swapping to the Bastion here. Let's see if that works out for Post. The Emre wasn't really dealing much damage to the Winston. That may be the issue that the Post team is trying to figure out here. How do we deal with the Winston jumping in onto the team? As we see again right there with support from Favorites Ash, who has been doing so much damage to this Post squad. And now here's Chewy going turret mode. Realizing that Yashi is not in front of his team right now, but Post still have to back out here as Vero falls. KingJackson gets the nano boost out before he falls onto Multikel. Can Multikel do some damage here? Finds one. Make it a second. Multikel popping off on the point. Yashi takes down Moridin though, and this is going to make it very difficult for Multikel. He's got no healers left and will fall. A valiant effort there by the Eagles captain, but Post falls in the end, and they may have one more fight here before this next checkpoint. Vero with Amplification Matrix online, ready to go. That combined with the Bastion could be a lot of damage here that St. Lawrence has to deal with, but they've got to set up properly, and Yashi is not going to allow that to happen, just getting right up in Chewy's face. And popping the Primal Rage as well. KingJackson very low, will fall, and they just cannot deal with this Winston. Yashi is going nuts. Bushinada, though, falls to Chewy's ability there, but it's too little too late, as that's a team kill for St. Lawrence. Not quite as clean as some of their other fights that they've had so far, as we see Wintered Bull swapping over to the Wu Yang. But Post does have Annihilation, Amplification Matrix, and Turret Mode online here for this next fight, but the payload has not really stopped that much so far. This has been a very quick push for St. Louis. Still got over 3 minutes on the clock, and they already have 2 checkpoints under their belt. So I want to see if they can combine the Amplification Matrix and the Bastion ult here, or excuse me, there's the Bastion damage. There's the Amplification Matrix, but Bastion gets put to sleep by Kushinada. Finally able to wake up and go turret mode. Trying to get, but Yashi jumping in front of the Matrix, but Kel getting 2 with the ultimate there as Bastion. Chewy trying to cover the back line. And that was a really messy fight, but ending up in favor of Post University. There are about 3 or 4 kills on both sides, but since Post's respawn is closer at this point in the map, St. Lawrence decides to back off. Blizzard online for Moridin, forced to go into snow cone mode. There's the Blizzard. Gonna try to wall up their escape. No, gets put to sleep. Great dart once again by Kushinada from St. Lawrence. And now Yashi jumping back in, this time with Bob. And the tidal wave coming out as well from Wintered Bull. So far it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Post. Char also very low and will fly out of there. Bob still wreaking havoc in the backline, finally goes away. Oh, Yashi popping the ultimate all alone back here. Takes down 1, takes down 2 by himself in the backline. And Moridin gets knocked way off the side of the map. Tries to wall off Char, but Char takes him down. What an individual effort by Yashi there on St. Lawrence. And Post University needs to now try to deal with this monkey who's just wreaking so much havoc in the backline. Kel says, you know what, I don't care. I'm just going to go for the DPS and the supports here. Stepping up onto the point. He's only got 50 health. Pops the Annihilation, but he needs to get those heals. Does not get any heals as the supports fall. Vero trying to do what she can. Pops. No! Doesn't get the window down. Gets sniped by Favored. And now Chewy swapping over to Vendetta. This has been such a good hero for him in other matches. Let's see if he can get the magic once again. Kind of caught in this little room, but the spin gets a double kill. Favored trades one back with the dynamite. But that's going to be a good hold so far for the Post University Eagles. Sundering Blade almost online here for Chewy as we are approaching a little over 30 seconds to play. And in this first, if Post is able to hold here, that would be huge for their push. Oh, Chewy dives in but gets put to sleep once again. The dart from Kusanada is on point. And now Yashi getting nano darted, nano boosted, jumping into the back line. Things looking very grim for Post. KingJackson will fall. Blizzard goes down on a point though. So far, multiple kills traded back and forth, but in favor of St. Lawrence right now. Chewy getting very low, is not getting any heals and will fall. Multikel waiting in the wings, trying to come out, wait for his cooldowns. Try to stall as long as he possibly can. We are in overtime now. Supports are back up online. 1 kill by Multikel, 2 kills by Multikel. Overtime ticking down. Winston gets back on the point somehow. Now comes the Bob. This is last fight territory. Everything on the line right here. Multikel trying to do what he can. Takes one down. Favorite is down. That's huge kill. That's a lot of DPS down. Make it a second. That's another support now. Primal Rage online, but he has to jump away, and that's going to be a hold from Post University right before the last point. Incredible work by the Post University supports there. They fell early in that fight with the nano boosted Yashi on Monkey jumping into the back line. But the tanks and DPS from Post were able to stall long enough for them to actually respawn and come back out and heal them back up towards the end of the fight. And eventually St. Lawrence just ran out of gas there at the tail end of that fight. Excellent job by Moridin, utilizing one of the best stalling heroes in the game with Mei, using the Blizzard, using the Ice Block, slowing everyone down and just being super annoying. As Chewy sticking with the Vendetta here, I like it. As we see Vero swapping to Moira. And also we've got a swap coming out here for St. Lawrence. Winter Bull swapping from Wu Yang to Alari, so let's see if that works out for them. I would imagine Alari quite good on this first area of the map, because they're able to put their healing beacon right up on the wall there as you see it right in front of you. That'll be very difficult for Post to take out. They have to turn the corner before they'll even be able to see it. And it's going to do a lot of healing. So we'll see if Post is able to deal with that. Kind of surprised we banned the Widow here and not the Ashe, as Favorite has shown that they are quite good at the Ashe. But that's a nice headshot from Moridin. That's going to force Favorite to step out and get some heals. Post creeping up here to this first turn. No kills quite yet. Ooh, Monkey getting very low, forced to jump away. Both team supports doing an incredible job of keeping everybody alive right now. Yashi getting quite low. Moridin trying to wall off the supports so he can't get healed. But Monkey, of course, extremely mobile, able to jump right back to them. Moridin getting very low, goes into Ice Block once again. Now on Chewy here, trying to deal damage to the back line. Just barely missing, finally gets the kill onto one. Extremely low though and will fall. It's a 2 for 2 so far, but advantage Post because of the respawn locations right now. And oh, a very nice last kill onto Yashi by Vero. That's a huge stagger, and that may allow Post University to get this first point without another fight, and they do so. A little over 5 minutes on the clock now as Post coming into the second point. Bob almost online for Favored. And Matrix online almost for King, who has swapped to the Baptiste. It's going to be very key how... Oh, Moridin with the snipe onto Favorite at the start of the fight. That's huge. Yashi trades one back onto Chewy, though. And it's going to be a 4v4 as Payload rounds this bend. Ooh. Tar getting extremely low. Finally gets taken out by Multikel. Bob's still online, as well as Primal Rage for Yashi. There it is, finally pops both of them. And Multikel getting absolutely eviscerated by Bob. The rest of Post soon to fall after. And Post will have to reset here. It's a very nice team fight by St. Lawrence. And they have some ultimates online for the next fight as well. Vermilion, Ascent, Nano Boost, and Captive Sun. Almost online here. It's going to be a pretty even fight, although I think slight advantage to Post. But Chewy just gets destroyed. Gets hit with the Nano Nade. The Purple Nade, rather. Unable to get healing and falls immediately. Yashi gets 2 more, and Kel will fall soon after. But crucially for Post, I think only Window was used there, Amplification Matrix by KingJackson. No other ultimates were committed in that fight. So the payload's stalling out a little bit here. Let's see if Post is able to recover, get a team fight win. Chewy spotted out there. Needs to get some heals. Sundering Blade now online though. Multikel getting taken very low. Oh, but Moridin gets taken down. The Blizzard does go down right before he falls though. Multikel popping Annihilation. King gets 1 kill onto Yashi. That's pretty big, as this fight nowhere near resolved yet. As Chewy still wreaking havoc in the backline on the Vendetta, picking up the health pack. Who needs healers when you've got health packs, right? But taking so much damage there and will fall. And the payload's still stalling out in the middle of the second point. Ooh, that is a great pick by Moridin at the start of this fight, though. And now Post needs to push in and take advantage of this 5v4 situation. There's the Captive Sun. Multikel trying to deal with it. And does a pretty good job of pushing her off. But Wintered Bolt takes down Vero. Char takes down another. Multikel trades one back. And here comes the Bob onto point, but they're just lined up for Multikel as he takes down 2 with the help of Chewy. But the fight's not over yet. Yashi is still alive, still on the point. Finally jumps away. Yep, and Yashi knows he's got to wait for his supports to come back before he's able to fully commit. Good use of the barrier by Multikel, taking out the turret as well. He's purple, though. Can't get heals. Finally, he's able to recover. Chewy gets 1, but Favored trades another back. Moridin is down. Bunch of ultimates coming out now. Chewy taking another kill. This fight, trying to do what he can. Favored gets the last laugh, though, with that final shot on 2 health. Multikel trying to play ring around the rosy here with Favored. Finally brings him down. Char falls as well. But now, Yashi is on point with Primal Rage. Window committed as well for Post. Nice job by Multikel getting those headshots. Taking down Kusanada. KingJackson gets another. And finally, Post University will be able to stabilize here. And Kel with a 10-player kill streak, making his presence felt. As St. Lawrence may be rethinking their decision not to ban the Ramatra. As Post, I think a little less time than St. Lawrence had, as we see Chewy get picked off by Kusanada at the start of this fight. So Post is going to have to play very carefully up through this first point. Multikel getting the health pack, getting some heals. And not take down Yashi, though. He's able to jump away. KingJackson does take down Char, though. But overall, it's advantage St. Lawrence right now. Yashi knows it, and he's jumping in onto Multikel. Oh, here comes the DPS. Ult from Chewy doesn't find anyone. Sundering Blade missing that time. That's pretty big for St. Lawrence. Oh, Multikel gets to sleep. Annihilation comes out. Oh, but Yashi takes down Multikel and Vero on the monkey, and Post is going to be in full retreat mode now. Yep, everyone falling, and that's a team kill for St. Lawrence. A little over 30 seconds on the clock. I believe this is pretty much exactly where St. Lawrence was with this amount of time last time.
It's almost over. Just hang in there.
As we are hitting final fight territory, we're going to go take a look at Moridin right now. He's almost got his Blizzard available. Oh, Multikill getting so low, gets healed up. Everyone knows his final fight. Coalescence coming out from Vero. There's the Blizzard onto point. Moridin gets taken down before he can go into Ice Block, though. That's huge. Chewy gets 2, but will it be enough? I don't know. Chewy gets another, but falls. No one left alive for Post.
My heart's still beating.
And that is going to be a 3-2 win for St. Lawrence on map 2.
Play of the game.
Excellent final hold there by St. Lawrence. And huge shout out to Yashi on the monkey. Just really does a good job of knowing when he can go in, when he needs to go out. And Post is finding it really difficult to deal with this big ape that is jumping onto their backline constantly. So I think first map, the issue for Post was just tightening up those engagements a little bit right at the start of the fight, making sure everybody's going in cleanly together. And dealing with the Onran's ultimate, which was a huge problem map 1. And then map 2, right then, I think it was they just need to find a better way to deal with Yashi's Winston. He just keeps jumping straight onto the back line. And as soon as they think that they've got him, he just pops the ultimate, is right back to 1,000 health, and just makes it really, really difficult to deal with. Moridin plays, of course, Mei and Symmetra a lot, which, they're great heroes, but they're not necessarily the best at taking down a Winston, right? So I really liked the Reaper swap on map 1, point 1, I think it was, that Chewy did. Obviously, the classic Winston counter is go Reaper, right? He just more damage than Winston, and Winston has to get close generally to do most of his damage, so that can be good. But I did also like the Vendetta picks, so I don't know. The Vendetta was doing a lot of work, especially in the back line, but I think Post may want to abandon this kind of strategy where both teams kind of just jump into the back line, and then it's whatever support teams are able to survive longest. That team generally ends up winning the fight. That may not end up working out for them. So interested to see if they decide to run a more front-to-back style of team fighting here and kind of keep everyone back and take out the tank first and then just kind of go from there instead of picking heroes like Tracer and Vendetta to try to flank onto the back line and kill their supports immediately, because Yashi is just doing way too good of a job of just jumping straight into the back line and taking down the post-university supports. So St. Lawrence up 2-0 on match point here. We'll see if Post can start the reverse sweep or if we'll have a St. Lawrence sweep, as this match, again, very important for playoff qualification. The loser is not necessarily eliminated, as it will depend on how the other matches kind of play out in the NECC, but the winner of this match is definitely in 100%. So you want to be the team that's controlling your own destiny. You don't want to have to be checking the standings and seeing, who beat who and trying to figure out if you're going to make it as one of the last teams. You definitely want to get in there and be the team that is definitely into playoffs. Again, in NECC, take the top 4 teams of each of the 8-team divisions, and that'll make up the 8-team playoff bracket. So both of these teams exactly tied in the standings at 3rd place at 3-2 on the season. So, and again, even if the team that loses tonight drops to 3-3, they may still make it to playoffs, but if they do, they're going to be one of the lower seeds, which means they're going to have a much tougher round 1 matchup. So even if the losing team ends up making playoffs, you definitely still want to win just in terms of getting a better matchup in round 1 and not having to immediately face one of the best teams in the division. So we're taking a couple minute break here in between maps, so get some drinks, get some snacks, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Welcome to Atlas.
All right, we are back, heading into map 3 in just a moment. It's going to be Atlas. I'm not sure how to say this map. A8less. Aaron. It's got 2 A's in the front. Atlas. I'm going to call it Atlas. St. Lawrence up 2-0. Post's going to have to start the reverse sweep momentum if we will hope to continue this series. St. Lawrence looking to close it out right here. Let's see if they can do it. As look at that.
They have this coming.
Moridin swapping to the Reaper. I like it. Chewy sticking to the patented Vendetta. Also, bans were Mauga from St. Lawrence and Anna from Post University. So the Kiriko available, the Ramatra available, though Multikel deciding to go on the Junker Queen to start here as we are on the first point of Flashpoint unlocking in about 10 seconds. And here is Yashi once again jumping into the team with the Winston. Jumping out though, and that's going to leave his supports all alone. Chewy gets the first kill on Kushinada's Kiriko. As we also see favored on the Sombra here as Post University just barely capturing the point here. KingJackson gets another one. This fight extremely chaotic, but Post is thriving in the chaos right now, taking 3 unanswered kills, and the rest of St. Lawrence will fall back. Missing the first knife here, but it was just a parting shot. Chewy already 44% to this Sundering Blade. Getting hacked though. Favored. Whoa. Chewy trying to find these last hits, but just cannot take it. Finally gets Kushinada, but traded back immediately by Yashi. Oh, Char walks straight into the face of Moridin's Reaper. And yeah, this Reaper is doing a nice job of countering the Winston, forcing him to jump out more quickly than I think he's used to. As Post already approaching 90%, now past 90% on this first one as Chewy has the ultimate almost online, gets 1 kill, gets nope, not a second quite yet, but that's gonna be enough, I think, for the first point. Yep, it sure is. And Post will not be stopped so far on this first point of Flashpoint on Atlas. Kitsune Rush and Sundering Blade online for the Eagles. As we head into the second point, Favored almost has the EMP online. That could be big. Can also interrupt the Sundering Blade from Chewy if Favored plays it correctly. But Multikel with a beautiful knife onto Wintered Bull. Takes down 1 at the start of this fight. And St. Lawrence going to try to regroup. Luckily for them, the point has not unlocked yet. The Post will take it pretty quickly. Oh, but Chewy goes down, and the point is contested. They didn't capture it. Moridin hacked, unable to go into Wraith form. Multikill gets 1 kill on the back end of that fight, but will eventually fall. No ultimates used from Post, though. As St. Lawrence will capture the first point, get their first percentage here on Atlas. Chewy waiting for his team. Vero probably going to lead the team in here with Kitsune Rush. It's a very high mobility team with Kiriko and Lucio. Oh, nice kill by King to start things off here. Chewy gets another onto Winter Bull. It's going to be a 5v3 onto the point. There may not be a lot of ultimates needed in this fight. Primal Rage is popped by Yashi to try to stall for some time. But as Chewy takes on Kushinada and Favored, Post will take the point right back with 0 ultimates used. All 5 online for this next fight. Chewy finding where the angle they want to engage here. Finally dives in, gets booped out, comes right back in and gets the kill, make it 1. Char able to get out, Chewy very low and burning. Multikel also fell in the other part of that fight, so no tank for Post right now on the point. But it doesn't matter, double kill for Chewy with the Sundering Blade, and Post now will pass St. Lawrence's percentage on point 2. Rampage and Death Blossom online here for Post, as we are approaching final fight territory for the second point, perhaps, if Post is able to continue holding. Knife lands from Multikel, and there's the Rampage, but the beat drop comes down from St. Lawrence to mitigate the damage. And Post power through. Oh, there it is, 2 kills for Post, 1 traded back by Kushinada. This fight is not over by any means. Multikel getting hacked. Can't quite find those knives. Wintered Bull takes down Moridin. Post still needs to find these kills. They have not found them yet. Chewy coming back on the point, but Favored gets one. And Post may need to start thinking about next fight here. Yep, Favored takes down 2 on the Sombra. And Moridin just trying to stall at this point as the fight is lost. And St. Lawrence will take it back. This will be a pretty raw team fight coming out. As no ultimates online, Wintered Bull almost has the beat drop available. But so does KingJackson, so Post not wasting any time, getting straight onto the point. Oh, Chewy, nice kill on Wintered Bull. He takes him out before he's able to use the ultimate. That's huge. Oh, but so King falls as well. It's a 4v4 now, on the point. Yashi takes down Vero, though. Will we see heroics from Multikel? EMP and Primal Rage goes down, though, and St. Lawrence want this point, and they're going to take it. 1-1.
Lost. Next, flashpoint.
Still, both Lucios still with beat drop for this next fight. So it's going to come down to the consistent damage from Moridin, Chewy, Favored, and Char. To power through. Oh, but KingJackson finds the Sombra, and here comes the Sundering Blade. Everyone hiding from it. Doesn't find anyone.
Now we're talking.
And Post once again with control of the point as the point is unlocking. Just unlocked. Now, let's see if St. Lawrence wants to contest here. Nope, they'll let it tick over. Kitsune rush from Kushinada. Counter Kitsune from Vero. And the beat drop coming in from both teams. Who's going to bust through first? All these massive health bars. Chewy gets the first kill of the fight onto Favored. That's a really good sign for Post. KingJackson very low. Somehow gets enough heals. Vero falls, saving him. Everyone on Post so low. Multikel trying to do what he can. But it's just so hard without your supports alive. And St. Lawrence will win that fight and take it back. But 70% on the board for the Post University Eagles. And Death Blossom online for this next fight. Moridin will need to find a good flank here. Try not to get interrupted. She jumping up. Death Blossom finally goes down, takes down 2 with the help of Chewy. Great start to this fight for Post, but they've got to take down Yashi. He's in Primal Rage, swinging away. And Post will take it back as Yashi disengages. Favored also still sneaking around the back line. Post needs to try to not take too much poke damage before this next fight starts. Chewy has already farmed up another Sundering Blade. Needs to get out of there, though. Found a lot of members. There's the Sundering Blade. Doesn't find anything. EMP goes down. Beat drop to counter. As Chewy finds Favored with the downward slash. Can't find the second. There it is. Moridin helping him out as overtime ticking down. Yashi wants to keep this one going. But he won't last long as Post University will find the last few kills that they need and take the second point. Rampage and Konsuni rush online for the Eagles. Beat drop and Vermilion Ascent online almost for St. Lawrence for this next fight. Post does not want to get swept here. They want to continue this series. They want to guarantee themselves playoffs. They do not want to go down without a fight. Initial poke damage coming in. Chewy on the flank. All by himself. Dashes over to the health pack. Multikel finds Yashi. That's huge. Once again, Post with control of the point as it unlocks. And now, Chewy slicing and dicing through the entire St. Lawrence team. He has no monkey to worry about. Finally, Yashi respawns, though. And now he has a monkey to worry about. Dashing back to his team. Somehow makes it back to safety. This Post now threatening. Vero in trouble, makes it back to safety for now, but Chewy very low, will fall. There's the beat drop for St. Lawrence. Let's see how much Post decides to commit here. Kitsune rush goes out, but it's very late. And Moridin falls. Multikel finds one. Post getting a lot of extra percentage here. Maybe the Kitsune rush was not as big of a waste as I initially thought. As KingJackson still on the point with Chewy. Chewy getting hacked. Eventually falls. And Post is keeping this fight going. Moridin does not want to commit the Death Blossom there. Gets hacked anyways. And St. Lawrence will take it back. But Post got an extra about 20%. Just stalling at the end of that last fight. Very nicely done. They will certainly win this map if they win the next team fight here. Unless St. Lawrence is able to do a perfect hold through the rest of this and force a 0.5. Now she jumping in. Favorite has the EMP online. There's the Primal Rage popped already by Yashi. Getting in close, but both Lucios get taken out at the start of the fight. Moridin also falls. Everything's going to be down to Chewy's damage here, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Yashi will get another kill. Death Blossom and Beat Drop still online here for Post as Multikel falls. This is going to be final fight territory for this point here, and Moridin's got to make this Death Blossom count. Ooh, very early Wraith form here by Moridin. Oh, he needed to touch the point. That's why he was doing it. Pops the Death Blossom, gets hacked out of it by EMP. Great EMP by Favored. 1 for 1 so far. KingJackson drops the beat. Gets another kill. Still an even fight. Rampage online for Multikel. Doesn't see a good angle to pop it quite yet. Yashi very low. With one, Multikel with another, this could be it. Kushinada and Wizard Bolt in full retreat. Post takes the point back. Multikel. Shotgun to the face. Kushinada falls. Oh, beautiful shot there on Favorite. It's just a Lucio now. St. Lawrence is staggering in. That may do it. And Char is not able to touch, and we are going to map 4. Excellent work by Post University there. Specifically loved the Reaper swap by Moridin. I thought initially it was going to be Chewy that swapped to it, but the tried and true Winston counter was, I think, what really helped out Post in that situation. Yashi was committed, fully committed to the Winston, to the monkey, and, you know, I respect it. I respect it, but I think that he was having a lot more difficult time jumping into the back line there because when he was dropping his bubble, it was getting blown through so quickly with a combination of Junkrat from Multikel, or excuse me, Junker Queen from Multikel, and the Reaper shotguns. And then he was just forced to reposition way more often than I think he was comfortable doing. He ended up falling early in a couple of those fights because of that. So I think that's what really made the difference for Post in map 3. So I'm really curious to see here if Yashi stays on the monkey or if he decides to switch it up in the face of this high burst damage composition that Post University is bringing out. All right, we'll be right back with map 4, Post University starting the reverse sweep momentum. Let's see if they can keep it going and bring us all the way to a map 5. We'll be right back.
Initiating match.
All right, we are back. Map 4 starting right now. It's Esperanza. And St. Lawrence did not like that Junker Queen from Multikel. They banned that one out. Post University, remembering the Ash from prior maps, they banned the Ash. We banned the Ash. So I do like that. I do love the Ash ban. Favored was disgusting on that hero. Did so much damage with Bob and with the Dynamite. It's going to be a very similar composition here coming out for both teams that we just saw on Atlas. As the only thing I really see him switching is the supports for St. Lawrence with Kushinada on the cat. And Multikel swapping, of course, to Mauga since Junker Queen was banned. So we'll see how this works out. And Yashi sticking, tried and true, sticking to the Winston here. This Post controlling this area. But Favor takes down Chewy, stuck in the backline with his team there. Anticipating the Chewy flank. And it ended up working out really nicely. Now Post has got to play on the back foot a little bit, play some defense here. Try to survive in the 5v4. It's not going to happen as Yashi takes down KingJackson and Winterbolt takes down Vero. Moridin gets one back towards the end of the fight, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Multikel charging in on the Mauga. Winterbolt getting quite low. Finally gets taken down. It's still a pretty even fight, but Multikel needs to get back to his supports here. KingJackson makes it back onto the point. And somehow Post University has weathered the storm and have taken control of the bot. Very nicely done. I thought that we had that first fight lost once Chewy went down right off the rip. But Multikel and Moridin did an excellent job surviving there and dealing the damage they needed to deal. Oh, but Chewy Gets the better of Favored that time in the flanker v flanker matchup. And this will be a reverse of what we just saw, with Post now having the advantage at the start of this one. Char trying to get away from Moridin, gets pushed right onto the health pack and is able to survive. Chewy just going in deep. This man only knows how to press W. Catnapper comes out. Doesn't really find anyone, but doesn't need to. Oh, he did find Multikel. Goodbye, Multikel. Thanks for playing. Gets catnapped off the side of the map. That's a good fight for St. Lawrence, but 53.55 on the board for Post. The bot is now pushing for St. Lawrence. Cage fight online for Multikel. St. Lawrence playing a very flank-heavy style right now. Trying to... There's the cage fight. Gonna keep them trapped in there with Multikel. Yashi says, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. Pops the Primal Rage and starts going to town. It's a pretty even fight so far. Yashi and Multikel both still alive, but Moridin falls to Wintered Bull. The double kill from the Kiriko. As Kushinada finally takes down Multikel now that he had no supports alive to help him. And St. Lawrence will continue the push. Kitsune, Death Blossom, and Sundering Blade ready to go, but EMP ready to counter from Favored. Oh, Multikel gets Yashi right off the rip here. Sundering Blade comes down as well, but doesn't find anyone. That's a great fight for Post, though, as no ultimates were needed, but they were able to take control of the bot. Oh, excuse me, Chewy used his ult, but it didn't really find any value. It may have caused some repositioning that Post was able to take advantage of, but they are pushing up as 5 now. And the bot is up past 60 meters. There's the EMP to start this one off, and just like that, 3 kills for St. Lawrence. And this one's gonna be a wash. Yep, Post not burning anything here. That was an excellent engagement by Favored. You see the power of the Sombra EMP engagement. Just at flat health damage right off the start. Taking down all the barriers as well makes it very difficult to deal with. As we're on board with Moridin here, getting hacked. Is able to get out with the Wraith form, though. This Death Blossom going to be very important. Kitsune and Beat Drop. Moridin trying to deal with this Winston. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. And Post just says, that's fine. We're just going to go right back to the bot. 1-for-1 as Chewy and Yashi pick up kills. Chewy getting very low. Sombra, no translocator. They don't decide to chase, though. Moridin having to fight on both fronts. Gets hacked as well and taken down, but there's the cage fight from Multikel. Triple kill for Multikel. Yashi trapped in here, finally jumps away and will go down to the burn damage from Multikel on the Mauga. Death Blossom still online for Moridin, as Post has now once again brought the bot back. Chewy once again going on a flank adventure. Ooh, wow. 1-for-1 here as Moridin finally pops the Death Blossom, takes down Yashi. Gets catnapped though? Question mark? Oh, Multikel takes him down, but Kushinada catnaps him at the same time. This fight not won by either team yet. Very close. Moridin finally falls, as the supports for Post were taken out earlier, I believe. And St. Lawrence will take back control. A little over 3 minutes to play. Posted about a 40-meter lead. As we see Favored's EMP ready to go. Doesn't get found out here.
Catch you later.
Look to dive in here with Yashi.
Barricades moving. Ay, te asusté. We're catching up.
Oh, Kushinada with a double kill on the cat. That's huge. St. Lawrence is going to be able to push in off of that for sure. So we're back on with Multikel. St. Lawrence slowly but surely making progress, closing the gap. Oh, Kushinada on this jetpack cat once again. Trying to get Multikel off the map and does so. Nothing Multikel can do. And that's a clean team kill for St. Lawrence, as they have now passed Post University's meter total. Jetpack Cat getting very low, but gets support from his team as Char takes down Chewy. And this is starting to look dire for Post, as they're going to lose this fight as well. But a lot of ultimates committed by St. Lawrence. Good stagger on Multikel as well. Don't know about that beat drop from KingJackson. That may have been a little late. St. Lawrence now threatening to end this map and end this match. Post has got to pull out all the stops here. They've got Kitsune Russian cage fight. There's Kitsune, but Favorite already with a 1 kill. Kushinada with another. You should have banned the cat. Moridin trying to keep things alive for Post. Gets the cat at least, but does fall in the end, and Post will somehow come away from that fight the victor. I was concerned. I was very concerned at the start of that fight. But somehow we turned it around. But we are under 30 seconds to play now. The end of map music has started. The sweat drops are rolling down the faces of all 10 players, as we are now looking at what could potentially be the final fight of the match. Chewy gets taken out by the cat, and here comes Catnapper as well. He's looking for a victim. It's all down to Moridin and Multikel as Vero falls as well. Moridin's not able to get out in time as Multikel gets hacked and falls, and that will do it. St. Lawrence will take down Post University 3-1 and improve to 4-2 on the season. Congratulations to them. They will qualify for playoffs. Post will maybe qualify for playoffs depending how the other matches go. We'll have to get back to you guys on that one, but they will fall to 3-3 on the season, as we see. Oh, that was an excellent play by Kushinada. Interrupts the Sundering Blade and kidnaps Multikel right off the map. So, GG's all around. I don't know if I got that GG off before they all left the match. They left the lobby there. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us tonight on the Post University channel. We've got our spring break next week, although matches will still continue, although it'll be a much lighter week than we normally have. We'll have Smash versus Palm Beach Atlantic University on Monday at 8 o'clock on the main channel. Then on Wednesday, I'll be taking you through the Rocket League match once again. This time we'll be facing Fanshawe College, Fuel Esports, at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. And then we'll also have the college football matches on Wednesday if Sandwich is available. And then your Overwatch team will be back in action again next Thursday at 8 p.m. against Stockton University, this time in the ECAC. That'll be on Thursday at 8 p.m. But until then, have a great weekend, everyone. GG's to St. Lawrence as always. Congrats on the dub. And we will see you guys on Monday for Smash. GG's. Thanks for watching.